Okay, so you know the show Showtime at the Apollo, like famous variety show. They did like a little like I don't know if it was like a mini tour. It had to have been some sort of mini tour because they were taking like local to each city auditions that would then like it was a talent competition. I think the winners got money. I don't really remember. There were like dancers of all kinds, lots of singers, just anything you would expect to see at a variety show, I guess. There was a kid who was basically a Michael Jackson impersonator. He was like 9 or 10. He was so talented. Like, I don't remember if he won, but I think he got close. He was so good. Oh, I wonder what he's doing now. Anyway, I auditioned when I was like 11 or 12. This is like the peak of when I started doing singing competitions. And I auditioned with the song In His Eyes from Jekyll and Hyde, which typically is a duet, but I sang it all by myself. It was like my singing competition song all of 5th grade because it was right after I saw Jekyll and Hyde on Broadway. It was the first Broadway show I ever saw was Jekyll and Hyde. And I was like, and that's when I started figuring out vibrato because both of those women, those leads on the Broadway soundtrack, God almighty, their vibrato, powerful. So I remember being in the shower and figuring it out, just like figuring out the vibrato situation. Anyway, I sang In His Eyes from Jekyll and Hyde, very, very classical. And I feel as though everyone else was doing very like current, trendy, poppy, like R&B kinds of things and not so much classically musical theater. So, you know, they wanted variety in their variety show. They sure got it. And I think I made it to the top 25 or 35. I can't remember how they spliced it out, but one of those, which I'll take, you know? But I'm so curious, like, to hear from other people that did that, like, in their cities. Like, if you did Showtime at the Apollo, some sort of mini competition in your city, I am dying to hear your story because I had a freaking blast. I also, okay, so I'm from Ohio. You know Kings Island? Kings Island, if you don't, Kings Island is an amusement park in, I want to say Columbus, Ohio. I don't know, I'll double check, but it's somewhere in Ohio. And it's like not even a mini Cedar Point, but it's like, it's got some rides and it's like teeny and cute. And there's like this little mini Eiffel Tower you can go to the top of. And they happened to have Star Search Live the day that I went. They were just like, I don't know if they still have that, but they were having Star Search Live. And I was like, here's something that I shall do. And I sang Breathe by Faith Hill. I fucking won, bro. I won Star Search Live at Kings Island when I was like 12. God, I wish people had recorded that. I know exactly how I sang it though. And I'm thinking about doing that. I'm thinking about just singing all of my singing competition songs for like social needs in general, because I just think that would be fun and interesting. I haven't sung those things probably since middle school, but I remember the exact riff that I did on Breathe. And one of the judges, he looked like quintessential early 2000s. He had those like skinny-ish like sunglasses and like forky hair, and he was like dissecting all of my musical choices after I was done, and he was like, oh, the riffing on Breathe was so good. And I was like, oh, thank you, Kings Island Star Search Live judge. And then the big one, well, the first big one was the Cleveland Pops Orchestra has, I hope they still have it, they had a scholarship competition for just any kind of musician. If you were a singer, if you had an instrument, like all of those things. And by that time, I think my junior year in high school, junior and senior year, Defying Gravity from Wicked was, I mean, like it was in my bloodstream. Like that song is in my soul now because of how much I sang it, and like, oh my God, the deepest connection to that song. Oh my God. So I auditioned for the Cleveland Pops Orchestra Jean L. Pettit scholarship competition, and I won. There were 2 winners that year, but I was one of the winners. The other winner was like this incredible 11-year-old violinist. Oh my God. I went to his performance, and first of all, legend. I should look all these people up because I bet they're doing amazing things. I remember being in like one of the front rows, and he was just like slaying. I was watching his strings break on his bow, and I was like, you are a rock star. And do you know who performed in that show with him? Jodi Benson, the voice of The Little Mermaid. There was a gala afterwards. So I got to freaking talk to The Little Mermaid, okay? And it hadn't been my turn to sing yet for the competition. It was like 2 months later, and I was trying to figure out what song to sing, because there's so many, like if you could pick any freaking song to sing with the Cleveland Pops Orchestra behind you, like that's kind of a heavy decision to make. So I just thought I would simply ask Ariel from The Little Mermaid's opinion about what song to sing. And at first I was like, okay, so I entered with Defying Gravity and she was like, amazing choice, yes, yes, yes. And I was like, okay, but I was thinking about doing On My Own from Les Mis because it's so pretty. And she was like, okay, but do you want to bum people out? And I was like, no, I don't. That's a great call. I will do Defying Gravity. She's like, yeah, if that's like your song, like do your song. And I was like, okay. Oh, I also just realized it's literally the beginning of January and a brand new year. And like, I have goals. I have constant goals all the time. I don't know that I believe in resolutions. You can just change whatever you need to change whenever you feel like changing it. But I do think that it's important to share some of my goals because you can speak things into existence. Do you know what I mean? So I would really love to be able to finish all of the songs that I would like to move forward with, like getting out there, you know? I just need to finish them. I have like so many just simply unfinished songs that are so good. I just need to figure out a way to finish them because let me tell you, I'm incredible at writing a first verse and a chorus. So good. But then it's like, well, I feel like that's all I needed to say with this song. And I do realize that songs in general are getting shorter and shorter because people's attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. So sometimes I'm just like, well, maybe it's fine that it's a verse and a chorus. And then like, I don't know, I can add like something else. I don't know. Maybe it's okay that they are shorter songs. Maybe I can just gently wrap them up in a very simplistic way somehow. I don't know. But bottom line is like, I'm tired of having all these incredible songs that I really strongly feel like people will like and resonate with. And it's just frustrating that they're not out yet. And that's so stupid. Like, that's so dumb. Like, people are releasing music every day. And like, how have I not done that yet? You know, that's ridiculous. And I need to change that because of a lot of reasons, because I've always wanted to like have an album out. Like that would be incredible. I also would love to perform at Lollapalooza. Are you kidding? That's like in my backyard, basically. I would love to do Lollapalooza. I would love to perform like as a musician on like, as a guest performer on like a bunch of podcasts, like get me on H3, you know what I mean? Like I'm no Mark Rubelet, but I am Meredith Koken and I kill it in my own right. So that would be really cool. I would also really like, I think, to perform, I don't know, at like fancy hotels in Chicago. And I know people do that. I know, obviously, like there's fancy music, live music everywhere in Chicago. And I want to perform at Pride Fest. I just want to like be performing and promoting my music and just like doing it. And then like my boyfriend is a cinematographer. He's an actor. He is also a cinematographer. He's amazing. And like I have video ideas in my head for some of my music and so does he. And it's just like, God damn, we need to make this happen. We need to make this happen. There are bangers waiting to be birthed. When I first moved to Chicago in 2014, I started looking for like people that needed songwriters or singers for stuff, like on Craigslist or whatever. And I mean, I met some interesting people. There was one guy who allegedly produced for Ariana Grande and has written stuff for her. And I think he mentioned working with Beyonce. But basically he told me that the songs we were collabing on, like we were both writing together, which no, we were not. I was doing all the writing. Like he might have had a beat or whatever, and then I would like literally write the melody and the entire rest of everything. But honestly, a lot of the stuff was stuff I had already come up with, and then he started kind of seeing what he could do with them. And I ended up being like, oh, I really don't like where that's going. Which is why I very strongly advocate for producing your own shit. There's nothing wrong with producers. I, in the meantime, have met very legitimate, amazing producers and songwriters that are just like such good people. And I would trust their opinions with my songwriting and have. But this guy was like, okay, this song we're gonna send to Beyonce and Zendaya. This song we're going to submit to Eminem and see what he thinks. Literally, these are things that he told me were going to happen. These things did not happen. I don't know how much of that was on him, and I don't know how much of that was on the rest of it. I have no idea. But I became super uncomfortable When I was realizing like, oh, I'm actually doing all of the work and he's just kind of sitting here and expecting me to like write music on demand, which like very much is not something that I'm interested in. Like when the spirit moves me to write music, that is when the music gets written. But forcing it is extremely stressful and frustrating, and like I literally hate it, because if I hate the beat that you have, I'm not gonna tell you, first of all. I'm just gonna be like, oh, okay. It's not what I would have written, so it's difficult for me to write over that. I just didn't like it. It started feeling not very just equal, you know? And aside from that, his place was gross, like gross. Like before I went to use his bathroom one time, he was like, oh, I have to go clean it 1 second. He just spent like 10 minutes cleaning his bathroom before I could just pee. No, I don't want to go to your condo and write music when I'm doing all of the work in your place. It's disgusting. Also, like, where is this stuff going? Like, what? It's not going anywhere yet. I feel like it might be going somewhere, so where's it going? I don't think I know this guy's real name. I think he gave me some sort of stage name or DJ name or something. Because in the meantime, I did see if I could look up his writing credits on Ariana Grande's stuff. And I was like, I don't even know your real name. Like, I don't know, how am I to look this up? And he never disclosed which actual specific songs he worked on. Like, wouldn't you, like, I don't know. That's just weird to me. It's weird that there was just no proof and that these were all just like alleged tales. Now, he didn't have no contacts in the industry, because I met a producer who had produced a bunch of Kiss albums, and I like tested out, they needed someone to sing for like a Chicago sports thing, and they were just trying out different voices for it, and I was one of the voices they tried out, and they ended up saying that I sounded too young, which that's like, it's a preference thing, like whatever. I didn't take it personally. So it's not like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like I didn't get anything out of it. It just like, I was not vibing with it in general. So then like literal years go by, and then he emails me a few times to work on music or to like check in or whatever. I just like don't respond. I don't want to work with this guy. I just like don't. And then a few more years go by. This guy finds me on Instagram, I want to say like 2 years ago maybe. And he's like, hey, it's been a while. Just so you know, I'm taking this song and we're releasing it to Spotify. How would you like to be credited? These are songs, just mind you. Were there 3 songs? I don't know how many songs there were, but at least one of them I had written, produced, worked on start to finish myself. The song isn't done. The song is not a finished song. So I don't know what he could release of it. It's not finished. And he's planning to put it on Spotify. He did not, like, that is actually my intellectual property. And I asked him, like, okay, like, can I listen to this shit before you put it out? Like, I would like to know what my own music sounds like. Like, what the fuck? We didn't have any contracts or anything. And honestly, I've looked for it on Spotify since that conversation happened, and it's not anywhere yet. So honestly, I don't know what's going on with that, but I don't know that legally if he could do that. So that's kind of scary. I don't really like that. And that's also why I'm like, every time I think about like being a musician in the musician industry, like, do I want to be with a label at some point or do I not? Because I've heard horror stories from a lot of artists. I'm sure that you have too. So sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, like in ways that would make things easier. In other ways, it would make things difficult and sad. Maybe I'll just independently, you know, put things out, kind of like Tori Kelly did. I loved her business model for herself. She just had full control over everything, and I don't think she was with a label at first. I think she was just putting out EPs. I would love to do that. I would love to do that with visuals. Iconic. I would love to work with Chicago Shakes again this year, Chicago Shakespeare Theater. I understudied for Macbeth with them in like 2017. Just the best experience, like the most fun of all time. Understudies weren't required to go to every single rehearsal. There were like a certain number that we had to go to. I went to every single rehearsal. Why would you not do that? Why would you not? When you can absorb all of that, like, why would you not go and absorb all of that? So I did, and oh my God, it was just, it was the best. I worked with Teller, like Penn and Teller. He's so nice. And then last summer, because this is January now, I did a staged reading of a new musical. I wish I could say more things. There's only so much I think I'm allowed to say, but I'm allowed to say that I had a lot of fun. I am allowed to say that I feel like I was born to play that character. I can say that. I really feel like that character is just like, it's not me, but it's like, oh, I get her. I get who this girl is. and the music was like perfect for my voice. It was kind of like, it was insane. Damn it, I don't know what else I'm allowed to say. Oh, okay, well, to keep it annoying and brief, I guess, I worked with, oh my God, how do I even word this? I worked with some Broadway team people. One of them was a music director that is currently music directing on Broadway. The keyboard sound designer who did like the keyboard effects and stuff and some of the music. Like, name a Broadway show, he's worked on it. Every single one. Unfortunately, I think that's all I can say about the rest of the team. I just hope that they, did you see me almost fall? Because I felt me almost fall. I just hope that they like put up the actual full musical so that I can just reprise that role, dude. Like, oh my God. And it's so funny because like the day I got the email for that audition for this stage reading for this new musical, I was Ubering, I think, to work, and I was passing AV Pier, and I was just like, I will work there again. I'm going to work there again. I'm just going to. And then I got that email, and then I freaking booked it. So just trying to manifest more Chicago Shakespeare work this year. It's just the best. It's the best place to work. They're so nice. It's so much fun. Anyway, thanks for getting ready with me and for listening to me talking about nothing. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I will see you in the next one. No one's calling me desperate.